obviously a poor decision. He knows that. I think a guy that was probably excited to start off this year. I think we all have that great expectations and anticipation, but that's something that he knows that we've drilled, and he's done that. We work all the different situations with returners. Sean Beckton is one of the best coaches I've ever coached with. You guys know my travels have been well documented. I've been in a lot of places at a lot of different levels, and everything from working on backing up, catching a punt, to moving up into traffic and catching a punt, to timing up the practice plan where we're going to have a low sun, similar to game time, where the sun would be in your eyes and things like that. I mean, it's been really pretty impressive, the list of things. So for Cam, it's just like playing a DB, and you blow a coverage. All of a sudden it was some sort of scissor route or something, and you were supposed to take the inside guy and you went with the outside guy, and all of a sudden it's a big play. So the decision making part of it is definitely a part of playing and being a player, and he knows that, and he's a guy that I'm hoping that that's a blip for him, and he's be able to turn around and make some big plays for us the other way.
Some mistakes on special teams with Cam's return, Connor missing 2 extra points. I mean, how surprised were you that guys like that were reliable all last year are making those types of errors? Yeah,
you don't want any of the guys to make any mistakes, and just what you said, Cam's played a lot of football for us. It wasn't his first time being a punt returner back there, and so was disappointed with that, obviously. And then Connor's an all-conference kicker. It looked like I told him anyone that's ever seen me play golf knows that my golf swing isn't very good, and that's what his swing looked like. He was up early with his eyes, and his body wasn't in great position. So he's got to execute. Got to do his job. Everybody on the field has to do their job. When you play on offense or defense, you may get 70 tries. So you have a mistake, and it kind of gets masked a little. When you're a special teams player, in particular a specialist, you may have 5 plays in a game. So one mistake is catastrophic, and that certainly fits in with that. So he's not off the hook because of his history. That doesn't matter. That's all in the past. You can't be caught reading your press clippings. All due respect to you guys, when you do well, and same thing when you don't do well. You can't dwell on it, and you got to get ready. We got to have a short memory with that, and you got to put the ball through the uprights. That's his job, and he knows it.
Will he be out there again on Saturday?
He'll be out there again, yeah.
So did you notice, had his swing, so to speak, been awry a little bit in practice or not?
He had a great week of practice leading up to it.
Okay.
He was, I know that he was 7-7 on Friday. So there was, he was hitting the ball clean, and he's did a good job last week, and same thing. I think it was a missed opportunity and a miss by him, and he's a hard worker. He's a guy that studies the game. I think it's easy for position guys to sit there and watch tape. When you're a specialist, it's a little bit probably more mundane and more acute. And he does an excellent job with that, looking at the details and subtleties, and he's going to work and grind it and get back on track.
What do you see as the situation with Cerny?
Can you repeat the question, please?
What did you see as the situation with your punter? What didn't work for him? Were the special teams things like compounding on each other, or was his an isolated issue that he had?
Yeah, so he's the opposite probably of the other 2 guys that we talked about. He's a guy that's kicking for the first time. He was out there, and he had a couple that were pretty good. He had really, to me, the one coming out ended up being a 38-yard punt. We were trying to get a roll on that. He checked it up a little bit instead of rolling forward for 2 and having a 42-yard net, and you feel decent about it. It rolls back for 2, and you don't like it as much. That one, you kind of, when you go with the Australian-style punters, and especially if you're kicking cross field and doing different things, that ball's going to bounce weird, and sometimes it's going to roll forever. And we had one check up on us that way. The part that we're going to, hone in on him is he's got to swing his leg on the dagger situations, the going in punts. Those were the ones to me that stuck out as disappointing. He kind of same thing got, I think, in the heat of the battle there, and tried to be perfect instead of swinging his leg like you're supposed to, and relying on your drop. We coach the drop a specific way to be able to go ahead and make sure the ball doesn't fly out through the back or into the end zone, but your leg swing stays the same. So he's got to trust his technique and be able to go ahead and do that.
Connor had talked about Daniel's kind of just lack of understanding of American football and how we just kind of learn it on the fly. Were there some situational awareness stuff in that game where maybe he did the wrong thing just by not having played the game of American football?
I think probably like anything, there's something to, and hey, it's a first game. There's probably some excitement and some jitters. I'm sure he hasn't played in a crowd, quite that size, in front of a crowd quite that size, and things like that. But as far as the situational awareness, we kind of take that out of the equation for him based on our calls and exactly what's going on. So whether it's going in or whether it's backed up, based on what we're doing, he's going to be aware of the situation. So, once again, I think two opposite ends of the spectrum. You have two older guys that you're relying on heavily to go ahead and be mistake-free, and then you got a younger guy who's doing it for the first time that you're talking about. But, just a little bit of, mental errors that need to be improved, and really physical to be as much as anything with with the extra points in the punts. Those are physical deals that need to get executed. You got to swing your leg.
Did you get an explanation from Cam on why he decided to go back and try to field that play?
Yeah, you guys can talk to him about it, but it was, he was in a situation that wasn't a backed up punt. Obviously, it was a bomb. The kid had the wind. We do work on when you're in the middle of the field and you get the ball slightly over your head and you got to we call it a retreat. You got to work your retreat, and he's got to have awareness that, hey, I'm starting this thing off on the 15-yard line. All of a sudden, that ball's 10 yards over my head. That's going to go through the end zone, and we're going to have to live with it if that thing checks up. But he knows and understands that piece of it, and the discussion we had, and I think he would say the same thing. Poor decision, poor timing, and it was probably a bunch of things that happened. If you're really looking at it, a bunch of things happened at once to create a bad situation. Where the ball was, the wind, obviously a great kick by their punter, and that put on top of it the location, timing, and all that other stuff. So it was not making any excuses for him by any stretch. I'm explaining the situation, and just made a poor decision on it.